This lecture introduces supply and the distinction between supply and quantity supplied. So we're going to definitely be spending some time reviewing some material that might sound a lot like demand. It's just that we're looking at the seller side, what their perspective is. Supply is defined as quantities of goods or services that firms offer for sale to the market at various prices. So when we look at supply, we are looking at quantities put out on the market, not just at one price, but at every price. The law of supply: at higher prices, sellers will offer more for sale, and at lower prices, sellers will offer less for sale. It's just the opposite of the law of demand. With the law of demand, as the price went up, quantity demanded went down. People didn't want to buy as much because it was more expensive. But then on the flip side, sellers are saying, you know what? If I can sell this at a higher price, hey, I'll increase production and I'll put more out there at each and every price. And, you know, oftentimes this is difficult, or it's a little more challenging for students to get, but it shouldn't be, because you are a supplier yourself. The labor supply is where you belong. As your wage increases, aren't you more likely to offer more hours to your boss? This is why we have time and a half, too. Many people don't want to work 1 minute past 40 hours a week. However, because they can get paid oftentimes time and a half, they're willing to supply another hour. So remember, you are a supplier. You're part of the labor supply. As price increases, in that case it's wage, the quantity supplied increases. As price decreases, the quantity supplied decreases. Let's look at the supply curve. When we graph or take a picture of supply, it's represented as an upward sloping demand curve. And I guess another neat thing about econ here is we have supply. It has the word up in it. Upward sloping supply curve. So you're going to see that the supply curve is upward sloping from left to right. Both variables graphed, price and quantity, move in the same direction. And that's a positive relationship between those variables. And whenever you graph anything that has a positive relationship, you're going to see an upward sloping supply curve. Okay, for example, this is a supply curve for pizza. And always look at your label here. Here is an upward sloping supply curve. As you can see, at a price of $20, the quantity supplied was $40. Now let's say you open up a pizza place and you put a price out there originally of about $10. The quantity you're going to supply is $20. And then word of mouth and an effective marketing campaign causes the demand to increase dramatically for your pizza. And you find out, you know what? I can charge $20 for these pizzas and people are still going to buy them. So now you've upped the price from $10 to $20. What's happened is the quantity you're willing and able to supply goes up to $40. Then you find out, you know what? I'm still getting customers. I think I'll increase the price to $30. At a price of $30, the quantity supplied is $60. So as your reward is increasing for each unit you produce, you are going to put more out there. Now, what is quantity supplied? Well, it differs from supply. It's price specific. Quantity supplied is the quantity that will be supplied at a specific price. If I were to ask you what's the quantity supplied, you would have to ask me at what price. So supply is represented by the entire curve, just as demand was represented by the entire curve. And quantity supplied is represented as a point on the supply curve. Okay? For instance, here's our supply curve, same thing that we had before. It's the supply of pizza. It's upward sloping because of that positive relationship between price and quantity. As the price is increasing, the quantity is increasing as well. But let's just look at quantity supplied. Now what I did was I just went up to $30 here and I drew a line at $30. When I'm asking what is the quantity supplied, you need to know what price. At $30, the quantity supplied is about 60 units. So quantity supplied is price specific. There's only one thing that changes quantity supplied, and that is a change in the price of the good itself. So if we see the price of pizza go up to $40, do we see a whole new supply curve? No. We just move from one point to another on the supply curve. If the price goes from $30 to $40, the quantity supplied did what? It increased. Okay? So we moved from one point to another right on this existing supply curve. and that's affected only by a price change. Now let's just review a little bit here. Quantity sellers will put out on the market at various prices. That's what supply is. It's the entire curve. It's upward sloping from left to right because of that positive relationship between price and quantity. In contrast, quantity supplied is price specific. It is a quantity sellers will put out at the market at a specific price. It's a point on the supply curve. It's not the whole curve. It's price specific. And the law of supply, again, is as the price goes up, quantity supplied goes up. As price goes down, quantity supplied goes down. Quantity supplied will only change when the price of the good itself changes. Now, we learned that there were 5 things that cause demand to change. Well, we're going to learn about 4 key factors that cause the whole supply to change for a good or a service. But remember, there was only one thing that caused quantity demanded to change, and that was a change in the price of the good itself. The same holds true for supply. There's only one thing that causes quantity supplied to change, and that is a change in the price of the good itself. We don't see a whole shift of the supply curve when there's a change in the price of the good itself. We just see a movement along the existing supply curve. Remember that quantity supplied is a point on the supply curve. It is not the entire supply curve. How does supply change? Well, just as with demand, there are certain events that cause the whole curve to shift. Rise in supply, we shift to the right. Less supply, we shift to the left. And that again makes sense because as we move from the left to the right on our quantity axes, we see that those numbers are increasing. And the opposite is true. As we move to the left, the numbers are going down. Now, what are the things that cause supply itself, the whole curve, to change? Well, when there's a change in the cost of inputs. Notice that there is a big difference here between the word cost and price, and we'll emphasize that in just a bit. The supply curve will change when there is a change in the cost of inputs, and remember that there's a big difference between cost and price. They're 2 totally different terms. When there's a change in price expectations, we're going to see that whole supply curve move. When there's a change in the market size, the number of sellers, we'll see a shift. And finally, when there's a change in just some market conditions. Now this one, it's kind of a catch-all. I mean, we could see the weather impacting the conditions. Okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at the determinant of supply called a change in the cost of inputs. Now, when we look at inputs, we're looking at all of those essential ingredients necessary to produce a good or service. It could be raw material, it could be labor, it could be fuel costs, it could be shipping. So when those costs, when our expenses change, ceteris paribus, everything else being held constant, we are going to see a change in supply. But what I first want to do is take a look at how profit is calculated. Now, revenues minus expenses is our general equation for profit. This is what's really left over. And this is the incentive, by the way, in a market economy for people to open up their own business and produce goods and services. This is the incentive that encourages an enterprising person to open up shop. And the neat thing about that, there are so many neat things about that. And again, I want to distinguish that there's a big difference between the words profit and greed. Many people feel that profit is bad, and I guess I don't get that. I can understand where greed is, but profit is that incentive that encourages you maybe to open up a business. You're going to produce some good or service, so there's an increase in the variety of goods and services that are available. In addition, while you're buying raw material or maybe you're buying labor, you're stimulating the economy. Let's say that you are going to produce stained glass windows. Well, when you buy the stained glass, or you buy the solder, or you buy maybe the oak or the tools or whatever is necessary for framing, any of those things, what you're doing is increasing the revenue for a company that produces those things. And that revenue can then be used to pay employee wages, to pay taxes, and all of those things. So profit, if your company is profitable, what you're doing is you're not only helping your own pocket, you're stimulating the economy by being a source of revenue to another provider, and that creates jobs. Another thing is, as you are profitable, you might choose to hire a person. That creates a job. That takes a person that otherwise would not have a job and gives them the chance to become self-sufficient. All the while, that person that now has a job is stimulating the economy themselves because they're buying goods and services. They're also paying taxes on their income, and your business, are paying taxes on the income you generate as well. So all of those taxes that go into the government, whether it's federal, state, or local, are then able to pay for things like education. They're able to pay things like for our Center for Disease Control to operate, for our water systems to be clean, for our military, for roads, for bridges, and all sorts of infrastructure increases. So profit is really the source that allows revenue to come into the government. And that provides a great social service. Revenues are defined as funds brought in from the sale of goods or services. So inflows into the company in exchange for the sale and production of a good or service. That's revenues. Expenses, costs incurred. That's where the cost of inputs is going to come in. Costs incurred in the production of good or service. So some common expenses would be like utility, wages, taxes that need to be paid in, employee benefit expenses, raw material, all of those sorts of things. And profit is the dollar amount that remains after all expenses have been paid. Now, obviously, it could be that we have a negative profit, in other words, a net loss on a period, but hopefully it's a positive leftover amount. It's not uncommon for a business when it first starts to go a couple years having a net loss, because every dollar that's brought in is being reinvested right back into that company. Now, let's take a look at costs. And again, I want you to remember ceteris paribus. Remember, that was the assumption that every other variable is going to remain unchanged. So costs are going to go down, but revenues are going to stay the same in this scenario. We have to, so that we can make economics be meaningful here. Given case A, the revenues are $1,000. So the inflows from the sale of goods and services, $1,000. Expenses are $800, and that leaves us with profit of $200. Now what's going to happen is our expenses are going to decline. How that might occur? Well, it could be that we are able to get raw material in cheaper. It could be that fuel oil goes down, or just any energy source goes down in price, and that happens, because energy prices fluctuate. Could be that a company says, you know what, we need a decrease in labor charges, so we're going to go to Mexico or India or China, so those labor expenses go down. But do note that revenues have stayed the same. So revenues, ceteris paribus, are constant. Expenses went from $800 to $600, and that leaves us with profit of $400. Notice that as expenses go down, profit goes up, ceteris paribus. We're holding revenues the same. Let's say this is your business, and you were able to get raw material in more cheaply. There's a substitute, or maybe there's been an increase in competition. So the cost of raw material from your suppliers has gone down. That's driven prices down. Usually competition does that. So we see expenses go down. Your profits just doubled. It went from $200 to $400. Doesn't that encourage you to supply more? It does. When expenses or costs go down, profit increases, and that incentive, that increase in profits, is the incentive to supply more. This will lead to a rise in supply, causing the supply curve to shift to the right. There will be an increase in the quantity supplied at each and every price. I'm just sticking with pizza here. Here's our supply curve, upward sloping from left to right. And what we see here is the new supply curve is to the right. So there's been a rise in supply. What would have caused that? Well, the cost of production decreased. What could it be? Well, it could be that maybe the company went to a different supplier, so they got raw materials in cheaper. It could be that they were union. I mean, this is not likely to have a union-run pizza place, but they got rid of the union and were able to get workers in on a more competitive price. It could be that the property taxes went down for the company, whatever. It could be that the company decided to run its delivery vehicles on biofuel of some sort. There's I think it's the wood nickel or the glass nickel in Madison, Wisconsin, and all of their delivery vehicles, they run on biofuel, so it's very inexpensive for them to operate. So that's what we would see. Rise in supply, shift to the right, increase in the quantity supplied at what price? Every price. Remember, you're in a macro course, macroeconomics, so we're looking at the entire market for pizza, not just one seller, but the entire market. Originally, at a price of $10, the quantity supplied was $20. Now, at a price of $10, the quantity supplied is way out here. It's more profitable to produce. Now, when costs increase, profits go down. Our original scenario, we have expenses of $600. Revenue remains the same at $1,000, so our profit is $400. In this particular case, again, revenue stayed the same. Expenses went up to $800. So we see profit declining to $200. Now, you might say, in reality, what's going to happen is if your expenses go up, the seller's going to charge more per unit, so their revenues are going to go up. We're holding those things constant, though. That's the assumption of ceteris paribus. Now, what happened here, expenses increased, profit declined. Maybe labor got more expensive. Maybe energy got more expensive. But whatever it is, our profit has declined. And this will happen, ceteris paribus, whenever expenses or costs increase. So when costs increase, profit decreases. That decrease in profits encourages the seller to produce or supply less. They're just not making as much money as they were before, so they maybe halt that production. Now, what they oftentimes do is they maybe scale back producing a good that's less profitable, and then they start producing something that is actually more profitable. So this will lead to less supply, causing the supply curve to shift to the left. And that's what happened with this particular one. Remember, blue is our original supply curve. It has shifted to the left. There's a decrease in the quantity supplied at each and every price. And that is a result of costs increasing. So when costs increase, profit goes down. Sellers just aren't realizing the return, the reward, the incentive like they used to. So usually they scale back production of whatever that good is. One example I had from a student, I'm just going to go ahead and illustrate that one. Her father had a greenhouse and floral shop in Chicago during the late 70s. So I'm just going to put flowers right here, okay? Price, quantity, here's my supply curve. Again, remember, it's upward sloping. As the price is going up, the quantity is going up. And what she said, I remember Dad's greenhouse was going well, but she said it takes so much energy to keep that greenhouse at the right temperature with the right humidity levels, and fuel costs kept going up and up and up and up. So what happened was costs increase. Costs go up, what happens to profit? It declines. And what happened was this eventually just put him right out of business. So he chose to get out of that line of work because he wasn't making any money. Less supply, shift to the left. Therefore, at least in the Chicago market, there was a decrease in the quantity supplied at what price level? Each and every. You might see some examples. Here's another one I had from a student. She and her husband, they chopped. I mean, I'm not real up on the ag terms here, but what would happen at the end of the season, they would go out and combine stuff. They would chop what's left over in the fields, okay? So I'm just going to call this chopping services. If any of you know the correct name, just please be very forgiving of me, I guess. Now, you know those big plastic bags that you see that hold the output of the farmer? You see them, they kind of look like a ginormous, or excuse me, I'm sorry, I saw Elf too much. They look like a huge, gigantic snake or something along the highways here in Wisconsin anyway. Because petroleum went up in price so much, and plastic is a petroleum derivative, the cost of that plastic, those cases went up dramatically. Now, what my students said was, we're really faced with the decision. We can't really keep our prices the same. But if we increase the prices, you know what, we're going to lose customers. The fact is, one of our raw materials, those plastic bags, went way up. So her costs increased dramatically. She said, if we increase the price of our service, we aren't going to have any services. Or we're going to, lose all of our sales. So what they chose to do was keep the price of their service, what they were charging their customers, the same, and that had a way of just driving profit down dramatically. So she said if this pattern continued, eventually they would just go right out of business as far as that, and they'd do something else. So the supply of chopping services would drop as a result of that cost increase. Another determinant of supply is price expectations. Price expectations, we need to note again, just like you learned with demand, that expectations is the key word here. Nothing has changed with respect to the price yet. It's what sellers expect to happen to the prices. Okay, this is all about what sellers expect to happen to prices in the future. There's been no actual price change yet, and you have to remember that. And again, this is a really good lesson in reading carefully, because you'll even see in the homework that there's a couple of questions that deal with pork producers' expectations of, the price of pork in the future. Remember, if that word expectations is there, or what they anticipate for prices in the future, that's going to impact the whole supply curve. If it was an actual change in the price of the good or service, well, you know what? We would see a change in the quantity supplied. We would see a movement along the existing supply curve, but we wouldn't see a whole new supply curve. Let's take a look at this a little closer. If sellers expect the price to increase in the future, they will supply less today. Less supply, shift to the left. So if they expect the price to increase for the good or service they're selling in the future, why would they put it out on the market today at a lower price? The seller's logic is, why should I sell more today when I'll be able to sell at a higher price in the future? I mean, doesn't that make sense? You could sell something today, I have no idea why this just came to mind, but, maybe you have little cartoon figurines like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's what I have floating around my house every once in a while. I could sell those today, and I may choose to do that, and I might get 10 cents or 25 cents each for them. But from a collector's standpoint, I might say, you know what, why would I sell them today at such a low price? I think I'll take them off the market, and I'll put them back out on the market when prices go up. I mean, this is why people buy stock. You buy low and you sell high, or you buy low and hopefully you expect, right, that the price is going to go up in the future, and then you'll sell when it goes up. So you're not going to put those shares of stock for sale out there today because you expect you can get more for them later on. When that happens, supply decreases today. Sellers withhold supply today, planning to supply more later on when prices go up. One of the examples of that occurred in the 70s when Richard Nixon was the president. Okay, he put a price freeze on all meat, beef, pork, mutton. I'll just put beef right here, okay? This was the original supply of beef. Price, quantity. A price freeze was put on beef. That meant on a particular day, beef producers could not increase their price from that day forward until the price freeze was lifted. Now you might say, how can they do that? We're looking at a private market. We're looking at a non-government entity like a farmer, and the government can say you can't increase the prices. Yeah, that's what happened. They're not very popular. That's why we don't see them very much. And when you get into the next unit on combining supply and demand, you're going to learn about those price controls, and you're going to find that they very seldom work. They usually create more problems. Now, beef producers saw that their costs were going up. They were paying more for energy. They were paying more for feed. All of their additional costs were going up, but they couldn't make an upward price adjustment in the product they were producing because it would have been illegal. So what they said was, you know what? I'm not going to sell beef today. If I can't sell at a higher price, I'm just going to pull it right from the market, and I'm not going to supply any until that price goes up or that price freeze is lifted. So what happened was there was a decrease in the beef supply nationwide. Less supply, shift to the left. Now the producers, their logic was this. Producers said, why would I sell today? I'm going to pull the beef that I have that I was maybe going to take to the sale barn, and I'm just going to hold it back. In other words, I'm going to keep it in inventory, and then I'll put out on the market when prices go back up. But no way am I going to put it out there today. So that's an example. They expected prices would go up in the future. Therefore, they withdrew their supply. Less supply, shift to the left. Now, another example I heard, and this was, I really want to emphasize, this was just a rumor. This was not fact. Okay? It dealt with beef as well. And we've got price, quantity, the supply of beef. Now, one of my students had brought in an article. This was right when mad cow disease, CWD, chronic wasting disease. When chronic wasting disease, and that is, again, a disease that impacts deer, when that first we became aware of that, we didn't know a lot about it. And there was an article about this farmer that had gone from producing dairy to producing beef. And, you know, there was so much uncertainty about this CWD, and he had built up a herd of about 100, and he said, I'm going to sell my beef. And an acquaintance said, well, why are you going to do that? I thought you wanted to enter the market. And he said, you know, here's the deal. If CWD passes from deer to livestock, what's going to happen to the value of the beef? It's going to drop dramatically. Most people aren't interested in buying beef that's tainted with CWD, right? So his thought was this. I expect the price is going to go down. So the producer in this case said he expected price of beef to drop. Now, it did not drop today. There was no actual price change at this point, but expectations is what changed. So what he said was, I'm going to get out of here while the getting's good. So I am going to take my supply and put it out on the market. There was an increase in the supply of beef as a result of that. Okay, let's look at some notes on that. If sellers expect the price to decrease in the future, they will supply more today. Rise in supply, shift to the right. Their logic is, I better sell all that I can while prices are higher because I expect the price will go down in the future. And that makes perfect sense. Right? Geez, I better get rid of this inventory while I can because it's going to go down, it's going to decrease in value. So again, looking at this one, the supply of pizza, sellers expect the price to drop in the future, so they will increase, the supply will increase today because sellers are really thinking, I got to get out while the getting's good. Okay? That ends the discussion on price expectations. Let's go ahead and take a look at another determinant of supply, and that's the number of sellers. This is market supply. The number of sellers is going to impact the entire supply of something. And this is really, very straightforward. If more sellers enter the market, there will be an increase in supply. Rise in supply, shift to the right. If fewer sellers are on the market, there will be a decrease in supply. Less supply, shift to the left. Now, there are some really good examples of this. One of them that I'm going to take a look at is GPS. Price, quantity. This was the supply of GPS systems prior to like the Magellan and the other navigational devices that many people buy. GPS systems were first created for our military, so they had a very tactical purpose. And much like that television show, if you ever watch it, From Tactical to Practical, this technology became a practical device for many different individuals and companies. So the number of sellers increased because no longer was there just one major supplier supplying them to the military. Some people said, you know what, we're going to produce these GPS components so that they have use in cell phones, right? So there was another supplier entered the market. And then another company said, you know what, I think what we should do is produce a portable GPS so that people can put it on their cars and then get directions. You know, like OnStar is a really good example of that. So we saw a shift to the right in supply there. Another example would be here at Southwest Tech, we have a very innovative ag business program. Our ag business students need to learn how to use the GPS systems. They take them out on a four-wheeler, and they are able to identify where they should put the grass strips to prevent erosion, how much fertilizer and other chemicals they should apply based on the slope and what's being used. I mean, they have an incredible amount of application. Now, that means that there's a pretty good demand for this, and where there's a demand, there's going to be a supply. Okay? The final determinant of supply that we're going to take a look at is just kind of a catch-all, miscellaneous, umbrella-type category called market conditions. Sometimes other conditions, like even the weather, impact the supply of some good or service. For example, if growing conditions are favorable, there will be an increase in the supply of a commodity. Rise in supply, we shift to the right. When conditions are unfavorable, there will be a decrease in the supply. You know, maybe there's like a drought or a wildfire or something like that, some sort of hail damage. Less supply, shift to the left. So this one, again, is very straightforward, but do know that market conditions, sometimes just some other factors, do have a significant impact on the entire market supply of some good or service. That ends the discussion on market conditions.